All right, so how did the Clean Energy Institute begin or come about?
We saw a need in the state of Connecticut for I'll call it an unabridged judge of systems and renewable technologies. The state of Connecticut has an energy office, but it's really meant to support a broad range of programs. And there are renewable energy companies in the state of Connecticut, but they're really focused on their individual products. And so we saw the Clean Energy Institute as an opportunity to provide unbiased opinions of systems and technologies, and also to test. One of the tests we completed about 2 years ago was of a solar thermal collector for the Connecticut Clean Energy Fund. But again, that sort of systems evaluation and testing without having any bias or any leanings towards one system or another. We're just in it for looking at the overall technical, the bottom line. What's the best system, and does it work as advertised?
Are there any plans beyond the current photovoltaic solar array atop the Lincoln Theater for additional RE projects on campus?
Absolutely. We've just completed some additional biodiesel studies using microwave enhanced biodiesel production. That was out of our civil engineering department. We've got plans for another 100 kW of PV for the roof of our sports center. I just found this out from our facilities organization, so we're very excited about that. That will a 5x increase, a 4 to 5x increase in PV here on our campus. We have the one collector, a tracking collector in front of Lincoln Theater.
Yes.
And the thought behind that is, so many times these solar collectors get installed and nobody sees them because they're up on roofs, they're up high, and so our purpose in that was, and we went with a tracking collector not because of the slight improvement in efficiency, but we really wanted to get the students to think about it, and notice the change during the course of the day. In the morning as they go to class, it's facing one direction. Late afternoon, they're going back to the dorm room, maybe getting ready for supper. It's facing somewhere else, and so to start, to catch their eye, get them thinking about it. So that was the purpose behind that tracking collector on the ground. We have plans for another solar thermal collector, a follow-on to the inflated collector that we tested for 2 years on the roof of the engineering building. Those are the big projects that I can think of right now. We just had some students kick off. We're hoping to work on wind, not for the University of Hartford, actually for Afghanistan. Turns out Afghanistan has great wind potential, unlike the state of Connecticut, at least on our grounds. If you go offshore, there's opportunities, but I don't think anyone will buy into that. We've got a faculty member in our civil engineering department who's from Afghanistan, who's working with the USAID and the World Bank to help the University of Herat, which is in western Afghanistan. So I've just got some students that have just kicked off this month a project to try to install wind power in Afghanistan. That will be a couple years down the road, but and again, it's the wind field in Afghanistan. It's like Oklahoma. It's a great place to put wind because it blows all the time and it's pretty good velocity.
Wow. Okay. Is there an RE renewable energy technology that you would like to see get more exposure or more funding?
In Connecticut, I think solar thermal. Everybody likes PV because it creates electricity. Boy, that's how easy is that? Everything runs off electricity. We're really dependent on electricity. But if you look at the efficiencies, and there's tax breaks, there's Clean Energy Fund incentives, federal tax breaks for PV. But if you look at the efficiency side of things, solar thermal is really a better bang. 1,000 watts per square meter is what the sun produces or brings to the surface of the earth. But a PV array can only convert maybe 20% of that into electricity. So 200 watts for every square meter of array. But if you go with a thermal system, you can actually do maybe double that. 40% of the energy can be converted into hot water or some hot fluid. So you get, maybe a 2x improvement in efficiency of converting sunlight to something usable. It's just not as useful. But we have nothing in the state to entice people to go to the solar thermal. So that is one thing that I'd like to see changed.
Okay. Do you believe that a silver bullet is possible to solve all of our energy needs, or do you think our future energy needs will be met with a variety of renewable energy solutions?
I think because I worked for a couple decades, I don't see any, one thing that we're going to be able to hang our hat on that's going to get us out of this energy issue. I think it's going to take a variety of things. And it's going to take people to understand that the era of cheap energy is over, that we need to make some accommodations in our lifestyle, and that includes transportation in our homes and other industries to face that reality.
Okay. Would you have a preference on one technology that you think will lead consumer acceptance or drive demand into renewables, such as solar, photovoltaic, or anything else?
I think wind. The issue with wind is the unpredictability. The wind blows and then it stops, and so. But in terms of the growth into our electric grid, wind has made the biggest inroads, and there's still a lot of potential for that. And now you got the commercial guys into it. There's large companies. I forget the guys out of Denmark, but General Electric and other large conglomerates are into this game now. So they see a money-making opportunity, but it's because of the technical opportunity to implement wind power throughout the world.
Right. If there was a silver bullet discovered that revolutionized how we produce and or sell energy, do you believe it would destroy or empower the world economy?
We had this discussion earlier, and I think cheap energy has really fueled a lot of the United States growth, and so I extrapolate that to the world. So if there was something that came along that really helped us in the energy field, providing cheap renewable, I think it's going to empower the world and really help growth.
Okay. What is a liquid metal combustion system, power system?
Liquid metal, it's actually a very exotic engine that the Navy was using in the 80s for torpedoes. It was take a solid metal, and that there's some metals that can combust, magnesium, lithium from the mine. And so if you start combusting them, they produce very high temperatures. The Navy was using them to make steam, to drive a steam turbine, which was driving their small underwater vehicles. The reason the Navy liked it was the products of combustion took up less space than the reactants, so there was no exhaust. And if you think about the Navy uses, they want things that operate at different depths. So if there's no exhaust, as you go deeper in the ocean, the back pressure goes up. So the efficiency of systems that would exhaust to the ocean drop off dramatically the deeper you go. So a vehicle that has no exhaust is depth independent in terms of its efficiency.
Do you have a favorite renewable energy technology and why?
Again, I think wind is the winner because of it. Just look at the historical growth in it in the last 10 years throughout the world and the United States. Connecticut, not so much, but it's just a factor of geography. We're not we don't have good wind opportunities here, but throughout the United States, I think it's going to be the biggest growth area for renewable.